Here, the BlackBerry JDE plugin for Eclipse. We're going to kickstart that installation now, which I've saved to my desktop for ease of use today. As we wait for the installer to kick off and bring us to the actual JDE plugin beta installation, I'm going to describe to you what's part of the package already today. So to make it easy for you to use, especially for first-time users, we've included both the Eclipse Java Development Environment 3.3.1. We've included the Eclipse plugin from BlackBerry, version 1.0. We've included the JDE Component Pack, version 4.3.0, which allows you to compile and deploy your applications. And we've also included a variety of different simulators to get you off the ground. So we're just waiting for the installer to complete. And at this point, we're going to see a dialog come up that will allow us to walk through and configure the installation. It's important to understand that if you already have Eclipse installed on your machine, you don't have to replace it with the existing version. The installer can detect that you have the Eclipse product already installed and will ensure that you don't install over top of it. So here we get an introduction capability. We see that everything we need to do is really focused around pressing the next button, which we do now. At this point, we get an opportunity to review the SDK license agreement and have to accept the terms and conditions before we select next. At this point, you're allowed to configure where you'd like to install it. As I mentioned, if you have Eclipse already installed on your PC, you should change this directory to point to your existing Eclipse installation. If not, it will install a duplicate or second copy of Eclipse. If you point it to your Eclipse installation, it will simply install all the other different pieces and configure that for you. In this case, we're going to assume that the user has not yet configured their environment, and so we were going to just keep the defaults and select Next. We get a pre-installation summary, at which point we select Install. What's going to happen now is it's going to unpack and install all the different pieces that we selected as part of our installation. With the installer complete, the last step is simply to press the Done button. Now we actually want to run the new Eclipse environment that we've installed. The easiest way to do that, for me, to show you, is to use the run command and run the executable that was just installed. This brings up the Eclipse installer, or the Eclipse Java Development Environment. What we're going to see, because this is the first time we've ever installed it, is a request to select a workspace. In our case, since we are going to do this from a demo perspective, we're going to select the default and select OK. If you're new to the Eclipse environment, what you're going to see the very first time you install it is a set of different resources that you can use to learn more about how to leverage the Eclipse development environment to the best of your abilities. That includes tutorials, what's new, and a variety of other samples. In this specific case, we're going to want to get right down to business as part of this video, and so we're going to jump directly to the workbench where you're going to get the ability to get your work done. However, I would encourage all people who are new to this to take some time and look at some of those different resources. So as I mentioned, there's an overview, what's new, samples, and tutorials that you can leverage. In our case, we're going to go to the workbench. Let's make this full screen so it's easier for you to see. What you're going to notice is that there's a new BlackBerry menu item that's been added that's different from a standard Eclipse Java development install. And so what's inside here is the ability to configure the BlackBerry workspace. By selecting this, that's our first step. A BlackBerry workspace has not been created, and yes, we certainly would like to create one. We have the ability to change some of the settings in here, including the project version override, the project vendor, and so on, and a variety of different imported jars. For us, the defaults are sufficient. Now that the workspace has been created, we want to create a project, so we go into New and Project. Again, we'll see the difference here being that there's now a BlackBerry folder here, and we can select BlackBerry project from the list and select Next. In our case, we're going to call the project Hello World and select Next. With the JDE install that we've done, it automatically configured everything for you. However, one of the great features of the Eclipse plugin that we've got is that you have the ability to configure your JDE home to leverage a variety of different JDE component packages that you might have installed. And so here is the location for where you can configure that information. In this case, we see that it is corresponding to 4.3.0, which was the version that we had installed, and a variety of other kind of settings that we have, including the SDK that we're using as part of Java. In our case, all the configured settings are correct at their defaults, and we simply select OK. And we select Finish to finish creating the project. Now that we have a project, we actually want to put a Java file in it. Go to Source, New, and create a class. In this case, we're going to call it Hello World Demo and select Finish. Now, in a normal development environment, you're going to go off and you're going to write your class, and you could have used the previous screen to help you kind of pre-configure parts of the class. In this case, we're going to cheat. We're actually going to paste in the Hello World Demo sample that we have as part of the existing BlackBerry JDE. And as you can see, it's automatically compiled to make everything easy for you, showing that, again, there's some potential warnings here that these particular imports are never used. And those are included specifically for you here to showcase that it's automatically compiling. And with no compile problems, we're going to want to run it. We can do so by selecting the Control F11 hotkey here, or by simply selecting the Run. Now again, it asks us if we'd like to run it as a standard Java application or BlackBerry simulator, and certainly our goal here is to run it in the simulator. We want to save our resources before doing so, and off we go. At the bottom here, you'll see that the simulator output console is showing all the different information that's going on as the simulator boots up and runs. Now we wait for the simulator for just a couple of seconds to link all the different Java files together and show us our new application that we've created. So now that we have the simulator up and running, we can see that our new version of our application is not on the main screen part of this theme. So we go down using the arrow keys or by using the menu key here to select the main screen of applications. And again, using the arrow keys, we can scroll down to find our application. For an application that doesn't have an icon set, the BlackBerry will assign it a default icon. In this case, it looks like this one. So now that we've selected it, we can leverage the trackball click here or the Enter key to select and run our Hello World application. By doing so, we see the screen showing us Hello World Demo and Hello World. And that is exactly how you install and configure the Eclipse plugin.